And welcome back to Illini Drive Wednesday edition, second show with the Monday Wednesday crew. Myself, Tommy Polcyn, Nathan DeHaan, and Alex Aguilera here with me. I am Jake Hasan. How we doing, fellas?
Good.
Yeah, I'm good as well.
No class on Wednesdays, long day of work, but it's okay. We're out here.
You have no class today?
So Monday, Wednesdays, I'm off.
Wow. So you just can put all that time into the show.
Well,
this guy.
yes and no, because I pick up studio monitor shifts during the day, Monday, Wednesdays. So, I came straight from that. I was sitting there by myself basically for 6 hours. It was tight.
Sounds hard.
Wow. Well, I had 4 classes today.
Nice.
That
Casual.
didn't sound fun.
Yeah.
Casual. Good.
Great.
Do you
All
guys
right.
have Wi-Fi?
I do
Good
not.
radio,
It's not
by the
working.
way.
This is great radio.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get an internet connection. But,
Who needs internet?
yeah, who needs internet when you know this football team the way we know it? And game coming up Saturday, Western Illinois. Night game. Pretty new, pretty exciting. How are we feeling about this game after the Kent State iffy game that just happened?
I think we kind of said it Monday. I'll say it again. And again, we probably said it about Kent State. It should be an easy win. We should win by at least 2 touchdowns, but it depends which team you see. We get that first half Illinois team, might be close for a bit. But if we see that 28-7 second half team that looked actually pretty good and competent, then why not?
And like we touched on the show on Monday, I think this game is a very big experimental project of, okay, we know what we saw in Kent State. We saw the good and we saw the bad. Like, what we see in this next game, I think, is how the season is going to play out. If this team can come out, kick Western Illinois in the mouth, prove that they can beat teams that they should beat, then I think that we can see a team that we expect and a team that we are hoping for. Probably 4 or 5 wins is the ceiling. Yep. But if we see them struggle against Western Illinois, even if they win, I think you look at the rest of the schedule and go, this might be another 2-10 Illinois team.
Yeah, and obviously the big thing here is the Dudek injury, and we talked about it a little bit on Monday. Who's going to step up? Who's going to fill that role? And like you said, Nathan, we said it's going to be an experimental game, and trying to figure out who's going to fit where and who's going to step up. And we talked about it. Some of the guys, Smalling, obviously, Reggie Corbin, the running backs are going to have to do some more. What do we expect from A.J. Bush in this one?
I think we see him more consistent. He looked pretty comfortable all game. I think we'll probably see a lot of him running again. I don't think Western is really going to see a lot of A.J. Bush caliber athletes where they can run that much, where they can fling it down the field. So, I think that we can expect a big game out of him, but who knows? I think worst case, we get a good running game out of him. But it'd be great to see him throw at least maybe 60% of his passes for completions. I think we can expect that.
Yeah, the completion percentage, I'd say, is the big question mark when it came to A.J. Bush after watching week 1. I don't know exactly, what to expect other than what we saw because, like you said, this is kind of an unexpected Illinois team after watching the tale of 2 halves. But yeah, if there's one positive I want to see, it's the completion percentage go up because the running looks great and his confidence level is definitely still high.
Yeah, and I think the other thing we need to but we need to see is the defense needs to tighten up because they were letting Kent State run all over the place, especially in that first half. But even in the second half still, there were still some holes that they left open. And, after the strong season last year, especially the defensive line had with Isaiah Gay and Bobby Roundtree especially, these guys need to start showing some more of that, especially against these weaker teams while they have them.
And especially you talk about having experience in the defensive line. That's something that needs to show up more on game day because we do have a young secondary, and we knew that we were going to have sort of a growing year in the secondary with a lot of freshmen, sophomores seeing a lot of playing time. I need to see a lot more pressure on the quarterback and plays being made by that front 7 in order to make me feel a little bit more comfortable about the holes that I know are there in the secondary.
Yeah, ideally, you'd like to see some of those guys that are out on suspensions back this week. Doesn't seem like that's going to happen. There hasn't really been many updates on that. But, even without it, this is one of those games where a lot of young guys can come in there, step up, show what they're made of. And Western, again, I think I said it. I don't know who said it last week, or on Monday, I should say. But this really is a game where we should be able to try some things out, be able to kind of get some new faces in there, especially receiving. There's definitely going to be some turnover there with Dudek out now. Yep. So I think this is one of those games where you have that cushion where you can kind of get out there, make some mistakes, but still win it, So we'll see.
Yeah, I think this is a game that, like we've said already, the Illini go up by a touchdown, maybe 2 early, and then you start to see that playbook open up again. Start to see some more experiments, start to see some more mismatches, and just see what you can get, especially out of AJ Bush. I mean, we saw how he can run last week, and we saw that he can pass. It's just a matter of him getting the receivers open, hitting them in stride. And again, tale of two halves. I mean, AJ Bush looked confident. He had touch in the second half. So I think if he comes out like that again, I think this is runaway win.
It should be a runaway win, really, however this game goes. Maybe it'll be a close first half. I could see that. But I think ultimately we should win by at least 3 touchdowns. Fair?
3 seems like, I mean, a week ago I would have said yeah. But, I mean, after the Kent State game, I mean, it's hard to say.
Hold on.
21 points is a big lead. That's a big margin.
It is a big lead. Hold on. Let me check something real quick. Nathan,
I'm comfortable saying 2 touchdowns. I
think 2 is reasonable.
I think 2 is like the floor, though. I think it could easily be a 3. Because I'm trying to look. What conference is Western Illinois even playing?
That's a very good question.
I'm looking now, so I'm on a little hotspot. We're having a little Wi-Fi issues here, but
All right, trivia question: what's Western Illinois' mascot?
okay, they're
Bulldogs.
No.
Leathernecks.
Leathernecks.
Come on.
Shit.
Great mascot.
Western Illinois is
And I
Missouri Valley.
applied to
Yeah,
that
so they're the
school.
MVAC. I mean, look, no disrespect to that conference. I'm sure they have some talented teams. And then Youngstown State, some good guys. North Dakota State. I don't even know if they're in the conference. Illinois State, they win it almost every year. But all I'm saying, even though we thought Kent State was like a blowout game, the MAC is a much better conference than the Missouri Valley Conference. These guys are not really seeing the size, the sheer size alone. We should be able to bully these guys. So with that said, I think 21 points is reasonable.
And I think that if the defensive front 7 steps up like I'm looking for them to and puts that pressure on that quarterback and makes it so the defense isn't so, has that wide open, then
Shout out Owen.
Then I think that we are comfortable. Then that lead can open up, and if the defense comes out strong and we can put up a strong first half, like you said, when that playbook opens up, we can take those risks because we have that early lead. But I think it really just comes on what team shows up to the field first day.
I thought Tommy was going to say something, but
I was just adjusting. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Again, just to echo kind of that whole sentiment there, it really shouldn't be a challenge. Mm-hmm. Again, if we come out slow, I still think it's a game we should win. Even if we do come out slow, I think worst case, where it's a tie game maybe at halftime, maybe we're up by 1. And after that, I think second half, they're just going to get too worn down. They're going to be too undersized. It's not even really that much of a matchup.
So the other thing is 9 true freshmen played against Kent State. Are probably the same amount of guys, amount of true freshmen again? Or is there anyone you think is going to make a surprise appearance?
I think maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any specific names offhand, but I mean, I could definitely see. Is there any? I know they're saying Carlos Sandy. He's a receiver that's going to be playing a little bit more. I mean, Stampley, they mentioned he's not a freshman, but he's a transfer. So, I mean, I definitely could see some of the young receivers at least.
And ideally, we're talking about this game, and we talked about this with Kent State too. We're talking about this game as a game we should win, a game that we should win probably pretty handily. And I think that if we do that, then you could put some of those young faces in. So I wouldn't be surprised if that number jumped.
Well, the thing especially is I feel like you need a good win this week, because then next week you have USF, and that's going to be a tough game already. If you're going in off a loss to Western Illinois at Soldier Field, like that's already going to be hard. I mean, that's going to be even harder then. So I think you really need this win to start getting the offense together if you even want to have a chance against USF.
Yeah, USF is going to be a challenge, especially like we said. I mean, we mentioned the suspended guys. It looks like it probably will be 2-3 games, more leaning towards 3. We don't know that. They said indefinitely, but, I mean, we'll see. If we have them back for USF, that's a whole different story, because adding Dorsey, adding Hobbs, adding in Bennett Williams, guys like that, that makes a huge difference. I think that's why the Kent State game was like what it was, because you're practicing with those guys for a squad all year, all offseason, and you get to week 1 and they're just gone.
Right.
So there definitely was that adjustment period, which is what I think we saw in that first half last week. I think that they're going to come out a lot hotter this week.
And like Tommy talked about, AJ Bush has been here for a month.
Mm-hmm.
I know he looked solid, and we were singing his praises, but that's also because Illinois is really desperate for a quarterback right now.
Yeah.
But I think that, as the season progresses, he gets a little more comfortable with the system, a little more comfortable in Champaign. It helps that our first 4 games are all in the state of Illinois, the one not in
Right.
Memorial Stadium at Soldier Field. So I think AJ Bush even, we see that level raise.
So going back to the suspended guys, and obviously we don't want to harp on that too much, but do we think that maybe the Kent State first half was what it was because this team wasn't prepared without those guys and they had to adjust, and now they saw, all right, without these guys, without Bennett Williams and Lou Dorsey, we can still play at a high level. Like in the second half, obviously they saw what happened, 28-7, like we said on Monday. So, I mean, are they doing that for a full game this week?
I think that's exactly, dissecting the bad first half. I think we looked at a lot of young guys out there, a lot of guys kind of deer in headlights because they weren't planning on being in that position on the first game. And with all the guys on a suspension and with this next game coming up and them still likely being on that suspension, I think that you'll see that growth and you'll be able to see a team that looks a little more comfortable against an opponent that's honestly even a little weaker, and that'll it'll look more like the Illinois team we expected to see and not the team that we saw in the first half.
I mean, yeah, just between looking at, you've got Nate Hobbs, Bennett Williams, Lou Dorsey, Carmoni Green, and DeHaan Pate. So that alone, Bennett Williams and Nate Hobbs are 2 of your biggest defensive backs.
Yeah.
I mean, Bennett Williams is a freshman All-American last year, was unbelievable. Hobbs was great when he was healthy. Dorsey was a second-team freshman All-American, I believe.
I think so.
If not, he was at least an honorable mention. I know I mean, regardless,
He was
very good.
on one of those lists.
And after that was with being out for part of the year, like he is a weapon. And he's somebody that Rod Smith, I'm sure, was really excited to use. So kind of adjusting to that game plan and everything that quickly, I mean, that's just the fact that they did that alone and hung in there and were able to come back is huge. And so having this full week to game plan without having them in the lineup, I think it's going to be a lot different.
All right, so we'll go around predictions. I want to score, and just obviously we've beat it into the ground, but I mean whatever other notes you might have. I'll start. I think this should be a 28-17 win. I'm gonna go lower just because that first half scares me, and I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than pleasantly underwhelmed, or not pleasantly, than be underwhelmed and be disappointed. So I will go a little bit lower. I do think that there is the potential to hang 35-40 points on Western Illinois.
Meow.
But sure. All right, cool.
Wow. Hey.
But right now I'm going to say 28-17, just a short lead that this team wins by.
Tommy, you want this or me?
I mean, wow. So you said what,
I said
2017?
28-17.
I think that's a very big understatement. I think I would be very comfortable saying 35-10.
Okay.
I just think it's that big of a difference from Kent State to Western Illinois.
That's fair. I mean, that's a fair assessment. I mean, and you guys this whole show have made really good points about like this team has had a week now to go back and look at last week's film. AJ Bush now has another week to get comfortable. A, living in Champaign, and B, like with the team and with that video, you've made really good points. I still, there's things that scare me still, but I can also see that. I can see a big blowout like that.
I think in a perfect world, it's like 49-10.
I think in a perfect world is what OSU did last week.
Right. But I mean, I'm saying like perfect world for us right now, offense is in sync. New guys are stepping up, guys who haven't really had that opportunity last week and haven't had it in practice. Step up,
Nobody
show
suspended.
Up. Well, then we're talking like 56. But no. So like with the roster we have out there, I think 49 would be great. And that's like no interceptions, completely like efficient, And but yeah, I don't necessarily think we'll get that, but I could definitely say 35-10.
I'm gonna be very similar to Tommy. I'm gonna go 34-14. I mean, to his point, I think that the offense is comfortable, at least will be comfortable against a weaker Western Illinois defense. I think that the defense still has issues, and that's why I think we'll get 2 touchdowns scored against us. But in reality, we should whoop this team. I'm, 34-14, that's a 20-point win. It's just under your 3 touchdown prediction, but
Yeah.
I think I'm still confident in this team. I think the
3
air has been let
touchdowns
out.
with 1 extra One missed extra point.
No.
I'll take it.
I got no. Okay, sure. But I'm thinking of. I'm talking field
No,
goals.
I know.
You know my guys kicking
got
field
you.
goals. But I'm saying this team, it's going to be similar to what you're talking about with them opening things up and getting going. But I still see issues. I still see problems, and that's why I'm not going to, say they're going to drop a 50 bomb on them.
Fair.
Alex?
I'll say 28-14, around that range. I don't know. What I saw from Kent State, honestly, really just kind of like bothered me in a bad way. That first half, that team really didn't show me that, even against a team like Western Illinois, that they can just, breeze right by them. Excuse me. But I think obviously it could go either way where, they could still get a blowout win. But I think just overall the team hasn't shown me enough that even with guys suspended, that this team still knows how to play with each other.
And I think we can all agree that we don't expect Blake Hayes to be the MVP next week of this game. We can hopefully count on someone
Hopefully
else.
not. I mean,
I don't mind, but hopefully not.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, Blake Hayes, shout out him, great punter, awesome
punter.
dude. But
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. In the first half, Blake Hayes had a great punt. I think it was sort of like in the second quarter, and the crowd just got into it, and I was just like, "Wow, it's bad when a punt is what gets
everyone
this
fired up."
Right. So that's where my worries set in pretty much.
he can be the MVP of special teams, but for the sake of a win, I think we need someone like AJ Bush or Reggie Corbin, Mike Epstein to be the MVP of this game.
Let's put it this way: if they still had the NCAA football game, he's gonna have like a 98, 99 overall rating for punts.
You're putting them in the corner every single time.
Exactly.
Real quick before we hit a break, I just want to mention Jordan Poulter, volleyball, earned a co-big setter of the week honor. So shout out to her. Illinois volleyball continuing to do.
okay, words are hard.
Words are hard,
Yeah.
as we've said many times on this show.
Imagine someone just tuning in hearing that.
Yeah,
Like,
right. They just turned on the radio and they just turned it right back off. But shout out Jordan Poulter, co-big. God, wow, this is bad.
Words
Tom's
are
in my
hard.
head now.
Words
Jordan
are
Poulter,
hard.
shout out to you, Illinois volleyball. You guys are killing it. Keep doing that. We're gonna hit a break real quick. When we come back, we'll do a little more Bears, Packers, and some MLB stuff. So stick around. And welcome back to Illini Drive. Jake Hasan here with Tommy Polcyn, Nathan DeHaan, Alex Aguilera. Just finished some Illinois talk. We all predicted a win next week, so we'll hope that happens, because going 1-1 to start the season against pretty weak non-conference opponents would not be great. But we're going to move on to some NFL stuff. We started this on Monday with some Khalil Mack to the Bears talk, Bears versus Packers. But how you feeling, by the way? You still good? You still Packers all the way? You still good with that? All right, cool.
I'm still good with that.
Cool. All right, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
You
check
have
it.
nightmares about Khalil Mack.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Not
not
yet. Not yet.
Well, because it's very possible the Bears come out, punch the Packers in the mouth, and beat them and make a sorry start to the season. But you guys see what Akeem Nicks said today? Or Akeem Nicks?
I did not.
He said I know those five guys can't block Khalil Mack. Talking about the Packers offensive line.
Yikes. You hate to see that. Yeah, your offensive line isn't very good. I will say that.
When healthy, we're pretty good. That's one thing, is that 2011 season that we went 15-1 and Rodgers was the MVP, everything. That was a season where the Packers showed what they could do when healthy, but there's consistently probably 2 injuries in the offensive line. But like David Bakhtiari, Josh Sitton, that we got rid of. He was
Sitton
there that
for-
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on the Bears for the last 2 years. They cut him this offseason, though, so
I don't know.
things you kind of hate to see, but that's fine. But we were talking about on Monday when we left some of the top defenses in the league, and I think we settled on that the Bears are probably 5th, right? I think that was what we said.
I said 6. You still wanted them in the top 5. It's okay.
We didn't force it. You're a Saints guy for whatever reason. Don't know where that
Who dat?
came from.
Who dat?
Shout out Justin Hardy.
Shout out Will Lutz, Saints kicker.
Yeah.
Shout
Any
out.
reason?
No, just
Okay,
good,
just
just good
good name.
kicker to have in fantasy. Saints put up a lot of points.
Okay.
Let's bring this thing back.
I mean, elsewhere around the NFL, I mean, you just have
I
guys
like
like
Todd Gurley.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it too.
Sorry, I wanted to name somebody I like too because Nathan got to do it, so I wanted to make sure I could too.
Alex. You want to
Go
throw on
ahead.
someone you like? You want
Alex, who's your guy?
Steven Gostkowski.
Oh,
Okay, another
good pick,
kicker.
good
Another
pick.
kicker. All
Ooh,
right.
big kicker
I'll
podcast.
accept- We're huge kicker guys.
Kicker
here.
friendly.
Huge special teams guys.
Yeah.
Or if not, Calvin Ridley. I got him with my last pick, and I felt pretty happy about that.
There's a rumor that Tommy's going to be doing a fantasy draft during the show.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You're
Good
welcome.
call, my friend.
He's gonna have the number 1 pick and have to auto
No,
draft.
so
and it's
actually-
gonna take Le'Veon Bell.
Actually, no, this is a very interesting league where we actually pick players for each defensive position. We have a kicker, we have a punter, we have a head coach.
Wow.
It's a wild
It's
league.
very
wow.
intricate.
How do head coaches get points?
Like wins, timeouts used.
Wow.
Like when you use ice the kicker, if you ice the kicker and they miss it, you get points.
Challenges?
It's wild. Yeah, it's
It's
challenges one.
So you have every defensive position on there too? Mm-hmm. That's insane.
Wow.
It's also like a
So in depth.
40 person league, I believe. It's absurd. It's
How
the most
did you
ridiculous
get into
thing.
this?
It's like a big thing, like within our house. I don't know if you've seen it at
I
all.
have not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
how long was this draft? Or has
so
it even
each
started?
pick is only 30 seconds.
Oh,
man.
Which is ridiculous.
I was going to
So,
say, like,
so
Jeez.
does like the first few picks still go as normal though? Like, is it still usually like running backs, wide receivers, or like?
I have to imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless you have,
you'll
like, some
see some,
crazy
you'll see
scoring.
like some like JJ Watts and stuff going in like the third, fourth round.
Sure.
Like it's good to have
Right.
them.
Yeah.
But you
Wild.
also have to get 2 starting quarterbacks right away because there's 2 quarterback slots on it, which is also ridiculous. But if you don't have 2 starting quarterbacks, you're just losing like 20 points each week.
Right. That's
It's
insane.
bananas. It's
That's
ridiculous.
that is a wild league.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a good
yeah,
time.
that's extremely intricate. That's gonna be like a 4-hour draft.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pay attention for all of it.
Nice.
PJ's on my team with me too, so we had a 2-man squad.
Shout out PJ.
Yeah, shout out PJ.
Yeah, but speaking of Le'Veon Bell, he said he's not going to report week 1. So I mean-
I've seen I was reading on ESPN earlier today that there's reports of maybe him staying until like week 10 or 11.
They're saying
because-
week 10.
because that's when he has to sign to
when
be
he-
a free
right.
agent next year. He's mad that the Steelers didn't give him more than the franchise tag.
well, and as he should be. I'm seeing people say that Le'Veon Bell is being selfish, but I mean,
Those people have him on their fantasy teams.
yes, correct. That's a good point. But I mean, and I agree with you, Tommy. It's probably people who have him on their fantasy teams, but I mean, the man deserves to be paid. I mean, he's been in the league. This would be his 5th year, I think, right?
Yeah.
4th or 5th year. And he's been consistently one of the best running backs in the league for the past 4 or 5 years. Even the year he got hurt with that knee injury in like week 11
was
or
still
something,
amazing.
He was still really, he was on pace to like break all his career highs. I mean, he does it all. I mean, he is a great runner, obviously. Great receiver. They split him out wide consistently. I mean, he has carried the Steelers, and I think in the twilight of Ben Roethlisberger's career, because Ben Roethlisberger does not sling it like he used to, and he's had injury issues, but
He's still good.
He's still good.
He's still really
Hey,
good.
for a backup QB on my fantasy draft, he's good.
No, he's good.
He's
I
my
agree with you.
backup, too.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
okay.
this has
I've
gone
got Carson
from,
Wentz as my one.
This has gone from Ben Roethlisberger carrying this team to the playoffs and the Super Bowl appearances to, all right, we have this ultra talented dude who we can always count on.
Carrying the team to the Super Bowls, I think you forget a lot about how that defense used to play.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger is not that person that carries the not the whole team, but the offense. It's not centered
There
around
you
him
go.
anymore.
That's what he meant. That's what
Right,
he meant.
yeah, I meant the offense. By no means do I mean the full team, because obviously, yeah, and even the offense is questionable because you give it to Antonio Brown and let him create his own looks. I mean,
I think the Steelers are very lucky, very fortunate to have so many top players at their skill positions.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked Le'Veon Bell is most projected as the number 1 overall pick in all the fantasy drafts.
Yep.
And the first receiver off the board is Antonio Brown, usually coming off like 5 or 6.
Right.
Like that right there shows that they have very good skill position players, and Ben Roethlisberger doesn't need to be, the Big Ben that fights through
Right.
injuries and is playing in snow games and bossing people around. God, I love Big Ben. But all right, they need to pay Le'Veon Bell, but I'm curious to see what the contract talks were like, because Le'Veon Bell strikes me as the kind of guy that says, pay me $20 million.
Well, he also is the guy who, once Khalil Mack signed his deal, he tweeted out, he quoted the tweet, Schefter's tweet with the contract, and he goes, Mac money with dollar sign emojis all over it, and just hasn't tweeted anything since.
but I mean, you can't say that Le'Veon Bell doesn't deserve to be paid. I mean,
He does.
what was the deal that Gurley signed this year? It was like,
I don't know, a lot.
I'll look it up.
He had a lot of guaranteed money.
was it? I want to say it was like
90 mil?
No, it wasn't that high.
60 maybe?
I think it was like somewhere in that 50, 60 range.
4-year, 57,500,000, 57 million
Guaranteed?
500,000 contract,
What was
including
it might have been 40.
45,000 guaranteed, 45 million guaranteed.
45 guaranteed.
45,000 guaranteed.
I mean,
I was like, okay,
I
wow.
mean, and Le'Veon Bell, I think, probably has to start there. Because I think for as good as Gurley is, and Todd Gurley is a great runner, he can also receive. Was the focal point of the Rams' offense last year. I mean, he's not. I don't think he's as good as Le'Veon Bell. I still think Le'Veon Bell is just above Todd Gurley. So I think Le'Veon Bell probably deserves 50 mil guaranteed. I don't think that's crazy to say.
I think Gurley, it's around 45 to the 02 because even though Bell's production has historically been better, Gurley's in his third year in the league, I think. Yeah, I'm almost positive.
I think he came in a year after, and he lost a year to injury.
Right. I think that's what I'm saying. I still think this is his third year. So he's younger, hasn't been through as much. Bell's been through a lot, plus injuries, and
Plus
he's been like the suspensions.
Yeah.
He's been like the workhorse for that offense too.
Right.
So like you're taking a little bit more of a risk with giving that guy that much guaranteed money. You know?
Okay. I mean, but still, I mean, you have
You
to
still
figure,
got to pay the guy.
Right.
Like
and you
he
have
deserves
to
a big
figure-
contract.
You have to figure,
but-
even if it's a little bit more than Gurley, you have to figure like he wants more guaranteed money than Todd Gurley.
And
Like,
he definitely wants to be the highest paid running back in the league.
Absolutely.
That's definitely
Yeah.
what he's putting his name on because he is,
Right.
I think, I would confidently say the best running back in the league.
yeah,
like,
right.
over
Yeah.
the past
And again,
3
I think
years.
Todd Gurley's just behind him, but I mean, Le'Veon Bell deserves to be paid. But I mean, it's just crazy to me that the Steelers are dragging this out so long.
Can just a quick because it's on the topic. Somebody just took Le'Veon Bell first overall.
Really? Someone hasn't been paying attention.
Oh,
to the
no,
news
you
today.
hate to see it.
somebody hasn't been listening to WPGU.
You hate to
Yeah.
see it.
True.
It's a tragedy.
But what pick do you have, Tommy?
I have number 8 of I literally can't even tell how many teams there are. So here, listen to the roster breakdown: 2 quarterbacks, 8 running backs, 8 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, D tackle, D end, linebacker, quarterback, safety, defense / special teams. You can carry up to 3. Carry up to 3 kickers. You can have 1 punter, 1 head coach.
Dude, just play Madden, man. Just play some
it's
Madden
insane.
Ultimate Team. Why are you doing a fantasy draft of this?
It's absurd, but
Play
it's
Madden
fun.
Ultimate Team.
It's
Call
a
it
good
a
time.
day, dude.
8 running backs and 8 wide receivers is ridiculous.
It's a 33-man roster.
And you said you would estimate probably like 40 people are in this.
I don't think so. There's a ton of people, but I don't know how many actual teams there are. I think there's only 20 teams,
That's
but
still
it's
a
like
lot.
a lot of people have cones.
That's still a lot.
That's
It's
80,
it
that's
is still a
80 running
ton.
backs.
Yeah,
I don't
it's so
think there's
many.
80 running backs that run each week.
No, there's not. That's what I'm saying. Like, so quarterbacks, you have 2 starting quarterback spots. If you don't have 2 starting quarterbacks, you're done. You're not going to win.
I need a weekly
That's
update on this
Yeah,
fantasy league.
It's serious.
Yeah, it's
It's ridiculous. But
Oh man. Jesus.
We're supposed to
Oh,
talk about the Bears during this segment.
Well, we did the Bears a lot on
Yeah,
Monday.
that's fair.
So I mean, there's not much more we can say about it. The last thing I want to say about the Steelers is, and they're dragging this out so long. Do they really believe in James Conner that much? I mean, he's good. He's a good runner, and I mean, obviously, the whole story with him, like beat cancer, went to Pitt. But I mean, Le'Veon Bell, second-year running back.
I think they're kind of being forced into this situation where they didn't really have time to prepare for having a backup running back that was better than James Conner. And at this point, they're like, you know what? We've seen what he can do. He knows the offense. We have Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. We have Ben Roethlisberger. We have a solid defense. Let's ride this thing out. Let's sign Le'Veon whenever we can, get him back on the field whenever we can. But I mean, like you said, James Conner is no scrub.
he's really good.
Right,
He was
very
awesome
good.
at Pitt.
He's just
He was-
unproven.
Yeah. And I mean, I think even in the limited action he had last year, he was very good.
Updates. There is 20 teams in the league, and I got DeAndre Hopkins with our first pick at number 8.
Good pick.
Okay.
I like that.
I don't hate that.
I like that.
Then again, talk to me when it's like round 19 or
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so ridiculous.
That's
I'm
ridiculous.
so stressed
And you're,
about this.
and you're picking my boy Will Lutz as one of your kickers.
There you go.
What was I going to say? Oh, so is there a scenario that the Steelers just bite the bullet and trade him and do like there's like a Khalil Mack scenario and they say, all right, we're going to trade you, and this team says, will you sign with us? Here's what we'll give you if they trade you, and he says, yeah.
What teams you see out there that it's like that?
San Francisco 49ers.
You think so?
Green Bay
Yeah.
Packers.
No.
No.
Who need a running back?
That no, I could see it.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be
want a
really
response-
stinky, but I could see it.
You want a response to the Khalil Mack
That's
signing?
true. I don't.
Freaking go out and get Le'Veon
Do they
Bell.
have the draft capital?
They have picks. They
They
always
do?
have picks. Their big thing is to trade away and
Yeah.
get picks for it.
I could see that. So I would say Packers, Niners, and Colts are probably the top three.
Okay.
Because I think the Colts
Why the
could,
Colts?
just because Andrew Luck is, I mean, they need
Andrew
someone
Luck's
to pair-
got a dead arm. He's not
Right, so
the
pair
Colts
him with
aren't
Le'Veon Bell and you have
Who's their,
something
is
there.
their running back Sheldon Mack?
I think so. I believe so. But I mean, their defense is terrible. You have T.Y. Hilton there, Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron just signed there. Like I think they have Frank Reich.
What about the Seahawks getting Le'Veon Bell? Another team that doesn't really have a running back.
Chris
Right, but
Carson's are okay.
Yeah, but I don't think the Seahawks have the money though either.
That's fair.
I forgot Frank Gore was on the Colts.
I don't think he is anymore.
No, he's
No,
not.
He's in
okay.
Miami right now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
He's currently in Miami.
What about Denver? Who's their running back?
Royce Freeman.
Yes.
But again, I don't think they have the money because they're paying Von Miller and they just gave Case Keenum a pretty sizable deal.
I could still see Bell going to the 49ers though. Like
I think the 49ers would be most likely to do it because
Yeah.
they just had the injury. They have Jimmy Garoppolo on not a huge deal. I think they signed Jimmy G to a
but they had a
reasonable-
pretty big deal.
But they
It was
also
big, but it wasn't like something that it's not like a Derek Carr deal that's all you can carry now.
they
Yeah.
also went out and got Jerick McKinnon this season though.
He just tore his ACL.
And he
though.
just tore his ACL. So, but I'm saying like you just went and got a running back, and I know that like replace a running back with you know,
Right.
I still feel like they feel some type of way. They feel like that's a little bit of risk.
They feel some type of way.
Wow.
Good one. Okay. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll do some MLB talk because we meant to get to it on Monday, and we didn't because Nathan was talking about the Packers for far too long. So we're going to take a quick
Shots
break,
fired.
and we will talk about the MLB when we come back. I'm sure Tommy has some thoughts about the Cubs, and it'll make me furious. Right after this. And we are back to Illini Drive to close out our last 20 or so minutes. Going to be talking some MLB here. Breaking news as of today, Shohei Ohtani, the two-way star from Japan, is going to have Tommy John surgery. He'd already been on the DL once with elbow issues with some UCL damage. For whatever reason...
Didn't they
Ang-
say he was already getting Tommy John at that first time?
So when that first injury happened, they said the Angels were 10 or so games above 500. They were in the AL West race. They were up there. They were conceivably a playoff team. Ohtani goes down. He's their top starter. He had a 3.1 ERA. He was hitting like 270 with the 8-something OPS. He goes down. The Angels tumble down the standings. They're now about a 500 team, I believe. And for whatever reason, the Angels decide that they want to bring him back. They want to risk his elbow even more, have him pitch again. And he was hitting the entire time. I think he went on the DL for 10 days with that first injury and then came back and was hitting again. Then this past Sunday, Ohtani makes a start against Houston, pitched well against Garrett Cole. And now here we are 3-4 days later, and he's getting Tommy John surgery. The Angels are 67 and 72. So 2 questions about this. And
Isn't he still hitting though?
So they said he could be cleared to hit. I think that'd be so foolish to do. There's no point to continue trotting him out there. You're already not going to see him on a mound until 2020 probably. So Ohtani goes under the knife this year. I mean, it was not smart to bring him back in the first place, right?
Yeah.
We can all agree on that.
It was a horrible idea.
There was no point.
No.
There's no benefit to it.
Especially since they're the ones that are recommending the Tommy John surgery
Right.
now. Like, if you have the information that you're saying that now, then you definitely, that short
Right.
span ago where you cleared him to start pitching and hitting again, just
Right. There was no reason to bring him back. You were far out of the playoff picture. I mean, as of today, the Angels are 19 back for the division and 15 and a half back for the wild card. I don't know what they were trying to prove, but now they've lost a potential superstar player for over a year. Second question that comes from this, do the Angels start considering a Mike Trout trade?
no.
Yes, I think so.
I
mean,
kind of yeah.
I think you have to.
how old is he?
He's about to be 27. I think he's 27, about to be 28.
A wise man once told me the team that always wins a trade is the team that gets the best player. Mike Trout is the best player in MLB, and I know that, now you might start considering it with all the issues the Angels have been having, but also they didn't look like they were out of the playoff race by any means
Fair.
at the beginning of the season.
Right.
So maybe a few pieces. I still just think that you're getting rid of a generational talent, and that's so hard to rationalize.
So Trout's 27. He doesn't turn 28 until next August. So almost a year from now. He's under contract for. He signed through 2020. So you have him. You're conceivably not getting Ohtani back until Trout's walk year. And Albert Pujols doesn't come off the books until after 2021. So he's not going anywhere. You still don't really have the money to sign anyone because we know that the Los Angeles Angels are a team that generally tries to stay below the salary or the luxury tax.
Text your bookie right now, Angels World Series 2020. Pujols on the end. Walk year.
Well, here's the thing. Don't
do that.
Do you start to
You'll lose
consider
money.
that you do a mini retool, trade Trout? Ohtani's only 23.
True.
So you're not by the time he gets back, he's only going to be 25. He's still going to be before the prime of his career. Is what you're looking at. You go through a mini rebuild because the Angels don't have anyone else really. They shipped Ian Kinsler out already after trading for him. Zach Cozart looks like that contract wasn't very good, but even so, he's not the guy that's going to put you over the top. Their rotation's a mess. Their bullpen's okay at best. I mean, Andrelton Simmons is really their only other piece. And I guess Garrett Richards. So, I mean, right now you're counting on Trout and Ohtani in 2020, unless you can bring someone in.
No, I mean, I agree. He's somebody who right now is in his prime and would get...
He's just entering his prime.
He would get so much back for him right now that, like, it could be one of those trades that completely restarts a rebuild.
Right,
and, like,
absolutely.
these guys, you could get back pieces that would be up by the time Ohtani's even healthy again,
Yep.
Like... I understand why they would want to keep him because he is that good and you don't just find a Mike Trout anywhere. But at the same time, it's like, realistically, I don't think that the window really even opened that much, let alone was there long enough for it to close. But if it was, I think it's closed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ohtani signing probably propped that window up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think it just slammed shut now because next year, 2019 is a lost year at this point.
Right.
Especially, I mean, Ohtani's you assume he's going to get the surgery. So then he's out for a year, maybe more.
It's that 2020 year that the Angels need to make
And,
the playoffs.
and like, who knows, too, like, if Trout even stays healthy. Obviously, historically, he's been a healthy guy and he hasn't had too many serious injuries. But,
You don't know what could happen from here on out.
He comes in, hurts his ankle or something.
Right.
If he ends up, God forbid, ends up getting a serious injury, then you're completely done.
I mean, Trout's a guy, won the Rookie of the Year in his first year in 2012, almost won the MVP, probably would have won it if not for Miguel Cabrera going insane in 2012 and just dominating the league. I mean, Trout in his 7 years up has not finished farther than fourth in MVP.
Unreal.
And fourth is the lowest he's been, and that was last year when he only played 114 games. And he still finished fourth in the MVP voting. Every other year, he's either won it or been second.
Wow.
That's wild.
It's unbelievable. He's just entering the quote-unquote prime of his career. I mean,
and that's what he's been doing
and
since day one.
Right, and he's been only getting better. I mean, the power number's gone up. I mean, the slugging's gone up. Still can steal some bases for you. I mean, like you said, Tommy, if you trade this guy, this is a whole
You're getting a haul.
You're getting a haul back. You're getting
You're getting a farm system.
You're getting a team's top 4 prospects probably, and maybe a major leaguer if you want. I mean, you could say that the Braves would send you Ozzie Albies and Ronald Acuna for Mike Trout. I mean, they wouldn't now, obviously, because they have I mean, I'm just using that as an example. But, I mean, you trade Trout this year when he's still under contract for 2 more years. And then, I mean, once Ohtani comes back in 2020, you're looking at a team that is possibly ready to enter that AL playoff picture again.
Yeah.
Because the Angels also have a decent farm system. Joe Adell, outfielder, he's pretty good. I mean, he's only 18, so you have time for him. Jumani Jones, only 20, still have time. Like, the Angels' top guys are all very young. I think the oldest is 20. Of their top 5 prospects, the oldest is 20. And so you have this time to let this develop. But you trade Trout, you get guys that are ready next year.
Yeah.
And then you give them a year to get their feet wet, get themselves together, get a whole year in the major leagues.
Maybe you get Ohtani to hit at the end of the year, something like that.
Right. 2020, you're looking at a whole new team, a new powerhouse in the AL West. I think if you're the Angels, you have to at least consider it.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. At least consider it.
I just think, like you talked about, like Mike Trout's only getting better.
Right.
Like it's scary because, like you said, last year was his worst year of the MVP voting, and he didn't play, you know, a third of the year.
Yeah.
Almost. Not quite, but
Missed almost 50 games.
It's still hard. I just firmly believe, you know, if you are giving away a generational talent, if you're giving away almost a surefire Hall of Famer after only what do you say 7 years,
This being his seventh.
then I don't know. I think if you're the Angels, you could try to just bottom out that farm league, like you said, that's so good, that's so young, and try to win now while you have Trout. And I know that Ohtani's about to look at that Tommy John surgery, but I mean, they looked like all the pieces could almost come together this season before this happened and before the AL West took off. I mean, we didn't really expect the Mariners to be what the Mariners are this season and the Athletics to be what the Athletics are.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fair. I mean, the AL West, though, isn't going away. I think the Mariners have a strong team. Obviously, Houston's going to be around for a while. The A's, I'm not so sure about, only because they're trotting out Trevor Cahill and Edwin Jackson out there 2 times a week.
It's just a money ball year. That's it.
Yeah, so I don't know. But, I mean, the A's do still have guys like Chris Davis, Matt Chapman. I just saw today, Matt Chapman has almost 8 wins above replacement, which is unbelievable, which is MVP-type numbers. It's just the Angels, I don't know. You obviously, you have to consider, if somebody calls you up, the Phillies, the Braves, whoever calls you up and says, hey, this is what we're willing to give you, have to consider it. I mean, and you're right, Nathan. It is hard because this is a guy who could retire today and probably get inducted in the Hall of Fame.
All right, think about this one.
Sure.
Jason Hayward straight up for Mike Trout. Who says no?
Everyone around the league, and Rob Manfred dismantles the Cubs and the Angels just for doing that.
I don't know. I think it's worth it.
That's a terrible thing.
Yeah,
why would you even put that?
I think the first person that says no to that is the Angels.
I don't know. I think that's enticing. Jason Hayward.
Yeah, he's a stud outfielder.
Right.
And
I
then
mean,
he looks
outside
like
of
an
that.
old self this year.
So
He does look okay
so-
this year.
Well,
No, he looks
Yeah,
He might
great.
opt out. Who
He
knows?
looked okay.
I think he might opt out.
so while we're on the subject, we'll talk about the Cubs. You guys are all Cubs fans. I am a noted Cardinals fan.
You see they're up 5-0 after the second.
I did see that. But the Cubs, you guys were saying the pitching is not great, but Cole Hamels, since he got to the Cubs, has had like a 1 ERA.
No, not even. It's 0.6.
Nice. Say it.
So it's really good. No, it's not. That
It's just
anymore.
It's 1 now.
Oh, Jason Hayward is on the disabled
He
list.
didn't get any runs last week. They took him away.
I don't know.
Dude, I'm getting 1. It's still
Right.
good.
He's still
Calm
been.
down.
I mean, he's
It's
made
still
what
good.
6 starts?
I don't know, man.
6 starts, 43 strikeouts. You said
It's
he's
something
been.
like that.
He's been
It was,
unbelievable.
It was 0.69 for the month of August.
He's
Right.
been-
And then he had to start against the Brewers.
He's been.
No, but he didn't give up any runs.
I believe they
I don't know, man.
took away the earned runs.
did.
Great
on that.
radio. Great radio.
Right.
Okay, like we talked about, Cole Hamels has been a stud.
He looks like 2008, 2011 Cole Hamels.
and he's the first in the rotation in the playoffs right now.
And we gave him
Yes.
a bag of baseballs.
And said, throw him.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm saying we gave the Rangers a bag of baseballs for him. That works too. I mean,
the
yeah.
opposite. Here are your baseballs. Go out there.
Go throw these guy.
And he's done it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
No, he has. He's been.
This was best
unbelievable.
case scenario when they made this move. I was like, okay. I was talking with my mom actually. She asked me about Cole Hamels. She's like, is this a good deal? I was like, if we can get 08 or 09, whatever, Cole Hamels, this is going to be a great deal.
I mean, when you made this deal, you're expecting even half of that. You're expecting even a guy who puts up a solid 3.2. I mean,
Yeah.
That's what I was
then that's
expecting.
really
I
good.
wasn't expecting this.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Tommy said it. Hamels is your game 1 starter. No,
Yeah.
he has to be.
He has
Yeah.
to be.
I'm
mean,
fine with that.
I love John Lester, but it's
Right.
right now it's Cole Hamels.
And unless the playoffs come around and Hamels looks different, and somebody brought up here earlier, playoff John
3
Lester.
weeks. I think it's locked in at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if the playoffs come by and all of a sudden Lester's throwing 7 innings with 1 earned, then
Well, then that's gonna be amazing in the 3rd game. Then
Right.
Okay,
I'm fine with that, too.
So that's where we differ in opinion, Tommy. So Tommy thinks Hendricks is a second pitcher.
Yeah.
I'm still Lester is an ace, has proven what he can do in the playoffs. I think he's still the 2.
And don't get me wrong, I love you. I love that opinion, and like I love him as our third guy. I love him.
you too, John.
Even if it's the second guy, I love that. But my thing is here, and this is a bit of a borrowed thought actually from the Red Line Radio guys. So back when this initial Cole Hamels trade was made, what they initially said was, hey, worst case, Cole Hamels, who's a career plus changeup guy, decent fastball, has good curveball. That's what he works with. He locates, uses pitches well. What he's going to do in the worst case scenario is at least help Kyle Hendricks work on that variation and use those pitches better. Because Kyle Hendricks was in a little bit of a down year. But since Cole Hamels has arrived, Hendricks has been electric too. And people are kind of letting it slip by because Hamels has been so good, which is understandable. But Hendricks right now is probably the second hottest pitcher on that staff. And Lester's had a bad second half. So I think that, to me, with just the trends we're seeing right now, Cole Hamels obviously been lights out. He's our one. Hendricks has been not that far behind him. Obviously, the ERA doesn't match up exactly, but he's been very good. I think he's our two.
And then you think Lester 3 and Quintana still 4.
It might be a 3-man rotation. If we do go 4, then
That's
it's Quintana.
crazy. You can't go 3-man
I'd still
rotation.
do
in a
four.
It'd be
bullpen.
tough. I'm fine with Quintana starting every 4th. That's cool with me. I mean, it depends, I guess, obviously.
Well, so right now, it lines up as the Cubs are going to be playing the winners of the wild card.
So either you or the Brewers.
So either the Cardinals or the Brewers, and I'm perfectly fine saying this. The Cubs could easily win those first 3 games and not even have to go to a 4th starter until the championship series. I have no problem saying that. Do I think that happens? No. I think the Brewers and the Cardinals are both talented enough to steal at least 1 game, if not more.
Bless you.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, that 4th starter, you get to that 4th starter and that's where you have issues. But your bullpen has gotten better. I think Morrow's still out, right?
Too, like you say issues. Having Jose Quintana as your 4th guy, again, didn't have a great first half.
Right.
Didn't even start out the second half amazing, but these last couple of weeks, he's looked good. I mean, he had a great game out in, was it Atlanta he played?
Yeah.
And he threw a gem out there. I mean, that's when like you see that like mechanical, just easy throwing gas right down the middle, hit it if you can.
What you
Jose
thought you
Quintana.
traded for the first
Yeah,
place.
and I mean, if we can get half that, a guy who can go 6 innings, give up only 2 runs,
Right.
that's great. And I think that's very possible in the 4th game.
I'd just love to see more swing and miss stuff out of Quintana because
Yeah.
that's the kind of pitcher he is. And right now, John Lester has 1 more strikeout than he does, or 3 more strikeouts than he does in the season.
Yeah.
And for somebody that prides himself on having the stuff that makes guys miss, that sets somebody down after 3 pitches,
Yeah.
I got to see that number go up before I'm set on Quintana. Although I'm not thinking about a 3-man rotation.
No, not at all.
I still think.
I
Quintana's
think
the
either
4.
way, though, whether you have Lester or Hendricks at the 2, I mean, it's a solid rotation going into
That
the
1, 2,
playoffs
3 is
regardless.
as good as anybody.
Yeah.
Not this season. Not right now, at least.
Well,
I mean, with
think
it's still
playoff 1, 2, 3.
Hamels obviously right now, but as good as anybody. I mean, we could talk about the pitching that the Astros have been putting up, the Yankees have been putting up, the Red Sox have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's AL.
Well, and that's
That's AL. We don't gotta worry about
That's the
that.
last thing I'm going to say. But I don't think it matters who comes out of the NL because all of those American League teams are just unbelievable. The Boston Red Sox are rolling over everybody.
Yeah.
Houston obviously has an incredible team. Even the Indians are super talented. They haven't been playing that well all season, but I mean they
Hey,
still
my boy
have,
Lindor, though, he's been killing
right.
it
They
this
still
year.
have the chance to. I mean, Jose Ramirez is probably going to be in the MVP conversation.
I
And they have
forget that.
Trevor Bauer, Corey Kluber.
Trevor Bauer and Corey Kluber.
I forget they got Donaldson, too.
Yeah, they just got Josh Donaldson for that postseason run. This part of the season for this season kind of makes me sad because there aren't really any playoff races other than the NL wild card.
And that's a race, though.
And
That's
yeah,
a
it
heck
is
of
a race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my
If
team,
there's one race,
and
it
my
is a
team is in
race.
it, so that makes it more exciting. I mean, that's going to come down to probably someone from the NL West because that division is also kind of crazy. Shout out Colorado though, -10 run differential.
I love Colorado.
and leading
People
the
sleep
NL
on them.
West.
People
is-
sleep on Colorado.
I don't understand how that is working. That you don't outscore your opponents at all, and you're still in your division race. But I mean, shout out to them. That's really good. Nolan Arenado. I hope he gets to the playoffs sooner rather than later. With the Rockies, that'd be electric. But I mean, yeah. I mean, you guys should feel pretty good about the Cubs. I think they're still probably one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the league.
Do you guys think the Dodgers missed the playoffs?
I think and hope so.
yeah.
I honestly think they do.
Yeah. Like
just
I wouldn't be
look horrible.
surprised.
You remember 2015 or in 2016 when there was 3 NL Central teams because the Pirates were the second wild card spot with 97 wins?
Yeah.
It looks
That-
like that
that
might
year-
be this year again.
Yeah.
That year, the NL Central was absolutely bananas.
Cubs had 103, Cardinals had 99, and the Pirates
Oh
had
man, that was
97.
wild.
Yeah, that was crazy. I think the Dodgers are too talented to miss it because what are there 25 games ish left, give or take?
That would just be so tough to go
So-
out and get Machado and there's not
Right, and I
Yeah.
think that's the problem. But Kenley Jansen is out. I don't know how that works. I think he has the irregular heartbeat going on again. But I just think the Dodgers are too talented. The Diamondbacks have been kind of scuffling lately. Again, I brought up Colorado's run differential. I don't know how you can not score more than your opponents over a season and still
It's
make the playoffs.
absurd.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I don't think that'll last.
But
towards the end.
but
of
the
season.
Rockies have been playing well, so I don't
Right.
know how that works. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out for the rest of the season.
It could go either way, to be
Yeah.
honest.
But that's the end of our show today. Thank you for listening. Catch the Tuesday, Thursday crew tomorrow. Eli,
TNT
Isaac,
crew.
Brian, and Tati will be here. For
Whole
myself, for Tommy, Nathan, and Alex, this has been Illini Drive. You are listening to Illini Drive on WPGU 107.1. Brought to you by the Illinois Fighting Illini. For tickets and information on the Illini, visit fightingillini.com or call 1-866-ILLINI-1. That is fightingillini.com or call 1-866-ILLINI-1 for ticket information. Thanks for hanging out with us. Alex, hit the music.